If you've got any questions, please just sing out. I actually can't see the chat while I'm presenting, so please feel free just to sing out as we go. So welcome to our ITO quarterly update. My name is Karen Smith. I'm the International Trade Manager at Tourism NT. So thanks for coming along today. I know everyone's really busy. So as I mentioned, as we go, please just ask questions. And before I start, I just want to respectfully acknowledge and honour the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of Australia and the Northern Territory and recognise the continuation of culture, connection to lands, water and country. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. So today we're going to have a focus on Alice Springs. I'm going to take you through the products that we have on offer there. We've got three of our operators joining us today. We have got Patrick Bedford from Emu Run Experience. We've got Beck Garrett from the Royal Flying Doctors Service Tourist Facility, and we have Holly Wyatt from Alice Springs Desert Park. So thanks for joining us here today, everybody. We're going to come back to them shortly. Firstly, I just want to take you through a few of the updates that we have in the Northern Territory. So in terms of aviation, there's not a huge amount of change here. But we do have the flights coming into Darwin from Singapore with Qantas starting in March next year, which is going to be 5 times a week. That's going to be really good for some competition there with Singapore Air. Singapore Air are currently flying, will be currently flying every day. In terms of domestic, we've got the new Virgin flights coming into Uluru from Brisbane. They're flying 3 times a week, and then from Melbourne, that's 4 times a week. In terms of Alice Springs, we have the Air North flights coming in from Perth. They're flying 3 times a week, which is great for that connectivity into Alice Springs. And up to Darwin, we have got Qantas are going to be flying daily from the end of October. Jetstar will no longer be doing flying that route from the end of October, but there's also access into Cairns, between Cairns and Darwin with Air North, but they do have a stop in Gove, which is in East Arnhem Land. From Melbourne, Qantas are going to be increasing their seat capacity by about 20,000 seats from October, which is great news. And then Qantas will also be adding seats to between the flights between Darwin and all those major cities leading up to Christmas, which is really good to hear. In terms of the new product that we have on offer, so Nitmiluk Tours, who you should be familiar with, they run a lot of the touring in the Katherine region. They've relaunched their Footsteps of Our Ancestors tour, which they've got 2 options. One of them is a 2-hour tour. It's led by Aboriginal guides, and they do a lot of the traditional activities like weaving and spear throwing, fire lighting, painting and didgeridoo playing. So that runs in our main peak season, which is between May and October. So the 5-hour option that they have on offer, that includes a cultural walk and morning tea and lunch as well. You may be aware that Toptage Cultural Experience has stopped running its cultural experiences, which has been a real shame for the region. So this is a perfect option for people heading out that way who are wanting to do that cultural experience in the Katherine region. In terms of Toptage, they are still running their art gallery. It's a really beautiful gallery, and they source all of their arts and crafts from local Aboriginal people, so it's still a really good option to pop in there. In terms of Nitmiluk, they also run their gorge cruises, and they do canoeing. They've got other cultural experiences on offer as well, and they offer helicopter flights too. Off-Road Dreaming, who are a tour company coming out of Darwin, they do a range of day and multi-day tour options in the top end. They have got a new 5-day top end camping tour, and it heads into Kakadu, Nitmiluk and Litchfield National Park. So they really take in that beautiful rock art and the waterfalls, and you learn about the cultural Aboriginal culture and history up there. So they do small group tours. They are camping tours. But this is such a good option if you have got someone wanting to do a camping tour in the top end, because they really do all the highlights up there. They're going into the Warringin Aboriginal Cultural Centre. They're doing a yellow water and a Gulanyambi cruise. So those are the 2 different cruises you can do in Kakadu. They go out to Cahill's Crossing. You can go swimming. They head down to Katherine and do the Nitnook cruise, which is with Nitmiluk Tours. They head into the hot springs, they go to Edith Falls, and then back up to Litchfield, they go into those beautiful waterways up there where you can go swimming. So a really cool option. All the meals are provided. They do dinners around the campsite. People will sleep in tents and swag. So a really nice option for the top end. Capelga Touring, who you may already also know as Kimberley Off-Road Tours. They've got a new van, you can see it here in the photo, which is offering accessible tours. At the moment, they're just doing private tours, but they are looking to do some multi-day touring in the future. But if you've got any clients heading up this way and they want to do any kind of touring around the top end and they're in a wheelchair or they have mobility issues, this is a really good option to have a chat to these guys, because they can pull together any kind of tour on offer for that region. So that's really great, and it's good to see that we've got some more operators coming into that accessible space. Leading into our slower season, because we're coming out of our peak season now, but Kakadu Air do a really fantastic day tour into Arnhem Land, where they go in to see Davidson's. You might be familiar with Davidson's. They have got the lodge in Arnhem Land, which is normally a multi-day package. They are doing day tours in there where they'll fly people in from Kakadu into East Arnhem Land, and while they're in there, they head out to that beautiful stone country. You do a cruise, you'll have lunch, and then you'll head back. So it's a day tour. It's a really good option to get into Davidson's if you can't get in there for that longer stay, but it's really beautiful. And Davidson's is really famous for the rock art that they have in there at Mount Borrowdale. It's a very sacred site for the local Aboriginal people. So Voyagers, who are our one of our operators in at Uluru, have got 2 new tours. These just launched last month, so in August. So one of them is the Sunrise Journey. The platform that they do this morning sunrise experience is where the Awinjiri Wiru experience takes place. So it's a beautiful location. The view of Uluru, as you can see in that photo there, is stunning. And what happens is people arrive, they'll get just a little cup of tea and just something light to eat, and then they'll watch the show. And it's all about the music and the light and the sound, and it's telling some stories about the artwork, or painting these stories or this artwork from some of the local Aboriginal ladies that live in the region. So it's a really beautiful experience. After that's finished, there's a hearty native breakfast on offer, and of course with all of your tours and at Uluru, the transfers are included on there as well. The other new product is the Australian Native High Tea. So it is a selection of these beautiful petite fours you can see in the photo here, with tea, coffee and sparkling wine. It goes for about an hour and a half. So this is a really good option for people who just want to have a bit of a break from the heat and they want to sit back in the aircon and just actually do something really lovely. I think it's a really nice option. It just sort of slots in nicely to the afternoon when there's not a lot of other touring happening, so people can pop along and do that. It's all located right near the hotels there, so very easy. So that is it from me. I'm going to hand over to Patrick. He's going to take you through what he has on offer. So I will stop sharing and hand over to you, Patrick. And you're still on mute too. You're still on mute, Patrick. Yep.
Oh, I'll click it twice. All right, can you hear me now?
Yep, all good.
Excellent. All right, it's great to see so many people coming on. It's beautiful weather here in Alice Springs. It's 30 degrees today, and we're just going into spring. So, yeah, exciting for all your travelers that are coming our way. So I'm Patrick Bedford. I'm the CEO and Managing Director of Emu Run Experience. We've been around since 2001, and I've owned the company for 12 years. Yeah, so hang on. Okay. All right. Our mission is that we believe that every traveller to Central Australia deserves an amazing, unforgettable lifetime experience. And the reason for that is they only come here usually once to visit. And this beautiful scenery that we have, this beautiful landscape, we want to share that with all the visitors to Central Australia so they leave with an amazing experience. Our target market is the 50 plus, so it's soft sightseeing touring. So we have both the FIT tours that we offer and then private touring. Now in German and Spanish as well. Moving forward, we're doing all the German tours this year in the summer months, and we've also got the Spanish guides as well. And we're looking to expand out into French and Italian as the guides arrive, and we end up sponsoring them as well. So we operate across the Red Centre. So Alice Springs is our main base. We also have a team at Uluru, and we do Kings Canyon as well. So we operate through that region. We do a little bit of touring up to Darwin and down to Adelaide, but not a lot. We prefer to specialize on just the Red Centre here. So the variety of touring we have. So for FIT, we have our Alice Springs touring options. We have the Ayers Rock touring options here. So we have the one-day Uluru tour with Sunset Barbecue, with the West MacDonald Ranges, the historical Alice tour, the Red Centre Journey, which is a new product for next season from April to September, which is a morning tour out of Alice Springs, the 4-day, 3-night Outback Experience, which will be a tour basically leaving from Alice and Ayers Rock, and basically a small group of 14 doing Alice Springs, Uluru, and Kings Canyon, and finishing back in Alice Springs as well. The old Uluru overnight escape. So out of Alice Springs or Ayers Rock, they stay one night. They do the national park the day before on the first day. Next morning, they do the sunrise and Catajuda as well. I'll go through it a little bit more shortly. On the Ayers Rock touring, similar tours across the region. One day Uluru with Sunset Barbecue. Uluru Sunset Barbecue is a standalone tour. The 4-day also operates out of Ayers Rock Resort, as does the Uluru Overnight Escape. A new product as well for next season is the Overnight Kings Canyon Experience. So that one will start from Ayers Rock Resort, take them down, do the canyon rim walk and the creek bed walk, but they stay overnight at Mort Conway, which is a glamping experience, full luxury air-conditioned glamping with ensuite tents, and then finish in Alice Springs. And on top of that, then we do a lot of private transfers and FIT transfers. So down here we have our tour different transfers, which I'll go through further down as well. So the one-day Uluru tour, it's our biggest touring product that we offer, and it has what we call different start and finishes. So you got Alice to Alice, Alice to the Rock, Rock to Rock, or Rock to Alice, depending on where they're starting and finishing. They can get on and get off the vehicles at different points. Out of Alice, we use the bigger vehicles because of the distances we travel between Alice Springs and Uluru. But out of Uluru, on certain days, we use a smaller vehicle, so it's a more tailored experience and a smaller group. So we do the highlights in the national park. So the Uluru Cultural Centre, the Mala Walk, the Mutajuda Waterhole Walk. We do sunset with a big sparkling wine, locally crafted beer, steak dinner. So we just sit back and relax. It's a really relaxed day. Starts around 7 o'clock in the morning in Alice Springs. We get to Yalar. We do. They get time for a bit of lunch there and a little bit of shopping, and then we do all the touring in the afternoon. And once sunset is finished, they go back to the resort, or if they want to go back to Alice Springs on the larger coach, they can as well. So a big day out of Alice, but a shorter day out of Ayers Rock. So that's those two different tours there. The Sunset Barbecue. So if they are at Ayers Rock Resort and they're looking for something else to do, and they want to come out on this Sunset Barbecue, we pick them up from the resort about 90 minutes before sunset, take them out. Dinner is laid on from them, as you can see there. We cook up everything for them, and they sit back, glasses. Hope there's no French people, champagne, no sparkling wine. We do locally crafted beer, and then they have the steak dinner and just sit back and watch the beautiful scenery and the color of Uluru change in front of them, as well as Catajuda in the background as well. So that's a really popular one from Ayers Rock Resort. West MacDonald Ranges, so west of Alice Springs. We spend a nice day out there. Starts around 8 o'clock in the morning, lots of short walks, lots of nice scenery, lots of good information. So it's just a nice relaxing day. It starts at 8, as I mentioned, finishes around 5 o'clock back in town. We do include morning tea and a bushman's afternoon lunch, but in the summer months as well, we also do a bit of swimming at Ellery Creek. So in our peak season, between April and October, it's not very warm to be swimming, but coming up ahead now as the summer comes in, we do bit more swimming in the afternoon, which people love as well. It's just a nice, relaxing day out, and this one usually goes hand in hand with the Uluru Day Tour, because people who are staying in Alice Springs, this is the most popular tour to go and visit, and maximum group size is 24, it's not too big.
Oh, Patrick, are you there? I'm not sure what's happened there. Patrick has just frozen. He might just have some connection issues. I'll just wait and see. I might have to get Beck to jump on just while we get him back.
Am I back? Am I back?
Oh, yeah, you are back. Yep, you're there. Hey, sorry, before you keep going, I've just had a couple of questions come in. Someone's just asking about the 3 and 4 day tours. Are you selling them through inbound? Because they're thinking that they're
Yes.
direct bookings
So
only.
as of yesterday, yesterday it went out the shift for next season's pricing. So we've been working on these products, and so we only just finalized them, and so they'll be with the inbound this week. And so
Okay,
the pricing.
fantastic.
So just keep an eye on them. Yeah, we have been working on that and the other products over the last 2 months, but it's just taking us a bit longer to get them out.
Sure. And there's just one other question too. Do you have a 48-seater coach?
We got one 48-seater, two 54-seater, three 54-seater. So we have 4 big coaches, and then we have 40-seaters as well.
Cool. Okay, cool. That's everything for now. Thank you. Sorry, and you can carry on.
Right. Cool. So the historical Alice tour. So the Desert Park is in the morning from 8 till midday, and Holly will give you some information on the Desert Park. Just an absolutely amazing place out there. Just spend the morning meandering around and engaging with the local animals and birds of prey and everything out there. So it's great. There is an hour gap then between that tour and the afternoon historical Alice tour, so they can grab lunch in town. We can drop them off and pick them up again, and then we head off around town to the School of the Air, Telegraph Station, Royal Flying Doctor, and at the end of the day, we do Anzac Hill for a beautiful 360 panoramic view of Alice Springs. So do them individually, do them together as one bigger tour. New product for next season, it's a morning tour. So it starts around 7:45 in the morning, finishes at lunchtime or midday. So we head out east of Alice Springs, out to along what they call the old GAN track, or the old South Road we call it. So along there, you come along where the Fink track is, but also where the old telegraph station is, where the train line comes in as well. So we talk a lot about the history of that region, about where the trains used to come in and how the different tracks, the South Australia and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of history about that. But then we head out into the Ewinga rock art, spectacular pictoglyphs out there. And there's also a little billabong as well, usually dry most of the year. We head in there, do a nice little walk. The guide will give a lot of information about the history of that region. And then from there, we head across to Ermina Homestead. Now, Ermina Homestead is an absolutely beautiful location just outside Alice, but the top left picture there with the building, that is a film set, kind of a Wild West kind of film set of the old Drovers, the Drover's Boy film set. I'm actually getting married there in 3 weeks' time myself, because it's just a spectacular scenery. So we head in there and you get to take a couple of pictures and learn a bit about the history of the Hazes, who own that land there. And now it's under Nikki, who's the new owner for the last 3 or 4 years. But we'll tell you about the history. And then we head up to the actual, the homestead itself, where we do some morning tea up there. And the spectacular views. You learn a little bit about the actual family and the running a station and the homestead out in that area. On the way back into town, after we've had morning tea, we'll stop at the big red sandy dune, we call it out here. It's just this beautiful panoramic view up on top of this beautiful dune. And then we head back into town and we go to the GAN Museum, spend a little bit of time there. Now, the option also with this one is if they are flying out in the morning and their flights after midday or after like 12:15, we can drop them straight to the airport, because we're coming back in by the airport. So it's a good morning filler product. And that one is new for next season as well. And I think it's going to be going 4 or 5 days a week next year from April to September. So that's a new product we brought online. Maximum size will be 21 of that group as well. So the 4-day, 3-night Outback Escape starts and finishes in Alice, but it also starts in Ayers Rock, so you can get picked up at either location. It's hotel accommodated at Ayers Rock at the Outback Hotel. We cover all the highlights in the national park. It's a very relaxed tour. We want, because of the clientele we carry, which is 50 plus normally, we want it to be nice and relaxed, short times off the vehicle, especially, just to make it a really chilled experience for them, rather than it being all go, go, go. We do Wildfire Gorge next morning as well, and then they have an afternoon free as well at Ayers Rock, so they can do many of the other attractions, whether it's a camel ride or an afternoon flight as well. So that's in line with us giving it a relaxed feel. Third morning, we're off to Kings Canyon. Down at Kings Canyon, as I mentioned, we'll stay at the Mort Conway accommodation down there, which is a glamping experience, and we'll have a fire going and do some drinks and everything in the evening, but dinner is included there as well. And we'll also do the canyon rim walk and the canyon creek bed walk as well. And then on morning number 4, we head back to Alice Springs after we've done the canyon. So again, maximum group will be 14 on this tour, and that's going to be from April next year to September, weekly departure. So that's that product. Overnight, Uluru, the Uluru overnight escape again starts in Alice Springs or Ayers Rock. Down from Alice Springs, you stay one night at the resort there, which is included. We'll do the highlights in the afternoon, the sunset with the drinks and everything. Next morning, do the Cata Judah and the sunrise, and then they will get dropped off at lunchtime and have an afternoon to do some of the other activities at Ayers Rock Resort, do a bit of shopping down there, and then they can either fly out of Ayers Rock Resort or they can get the transfer back to Alice Springs, which will be going as well on the coach that evening. So that's our other new product for next season. The overnight Kings Canyon experience, so out of Ayers Rock Resort down to the canyon in the morning, and we will stay again at Mort Conway. The lunch is included, dinner is included that morning, and then we head to the canyon and do both the creek bed and the rim walk, and then back to Alice Springs on day 2. And again, the group size is 14 on that one. We do offer a variety of FIT transfers on our buses. So the FIT tours that we do, we also do coach transfers between Alice and Ayers Rock and Ayers Rock and Alice. And the new product for next season will be a bus transfer from Kings Canyon to Alice Springs during April to September as well. And that one will be leaving from both the resort and from Kings Creek Station. So if you do have people that come down there and need to get transported, we can pick them up and transfer them to Alice Springs from Kings Canyon. And we also do a lot of private transfers. So these vehicles in the bottom here, we have a couple of these vehicles as well. And we do lots of local private transfers in Alice Springs, but we also do down to Kings Canyon and to Ayers Rock or vice versa, depending on the caliber of the client. We actually done quite a lot of them this year from Ayers Rock Resort and from the Canyon to Alice Springs Airport. So that's a little bit, that's most of our product. And these are the variety of vehicles, as somebody asked, 4854, we got 4 of those. With onboard toilets. All 4 of them have toilets. We have 2 38-seaters, and then we have a variety of 21, 24, 17, 11, and 6 4-seaters as well. And that's everything from me. Any questions?
Right, thanks for that. Any questions from anybody? I think what I might do, Patrick, is get that presentation from you and send it out to everybody. It's really good to see so much new product in there. That's really exciting for us. So it doesn't look like there's any more questions for now, but thank you so much for that. I'm going to hand over to Beck now. Beck, if you want to share your screen, you can take it away.
Hi, everybody. Am I coming through fine?
Yep.
Wonderful. I have for you today, first I do have a video presentation for you, but I do have a bit to speak to as well. It's so wonderful to be speaking to you all, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. I am Beck Garrett. I'm the Tourism Manager for the Northern Territory with the Royal Flying Doctor Service. I'm new with the organisation here, and I'm driven by my love for the Northern Territory, our beautiful hometown, and to my connection to the extraordinary work of the Royal Flying Doctor Service. I realise from an international perspective that a lot of your clients will be visiting Alice Springs as part of a group series, the GUN, or on a self-drive experience, and likely prioritising what Central Australia is most well known for, which is Uluru, with some additional experiences added in. What I'm hoping to be able to deliver to you today is that your clients coming here to better understand the experience, better understand and experience what truly makes Australia unique, and particularly in the Northern Territory, which is its vastness. And it's for this reason that the Royal Flying Doctor Service is a must-see attraction. We have state-of-the-art technology and an immersive museum, which is housed within a heritage listed precinct, and visitors will learn why the RFDS in Alice Springs is the pulsating heartbeat of the outback. We have a convenient inner city location coupled with some other tourism attractions for the region also. It's for this, it's so easy for your clients to make the most of their time here in Alice Springs, with many other options for great day trips. If your clients have time pre or post touring, as I mentioned, Flying Doctor is the must-see experience. Our attraction is suitable for all ages, most commonly visited by those between the 40 to 70 years of age, though we have created experiences for those young and those the young at heart. So before I share with you our range of offerings, I'm going to show you a short visual clip of our tourist facility. So whilst I'm talking through them, you have a bit of a better understanding. So I'm just going to share my screen, and hopefully technology runs beautifully. So let's just see. Sorry, I won't be a moment. If it doesn't come up for me, that's no problem. I will just talk to it and we'll be able to share something outside of this, so it's no problems at all. Apologies, stand down. It doesn't seem to be coming up for me. So we will cancel that. You can still see me and it's all fine?
Sure can.
Oh, you can? Okay, great. We will cancel that visual tour, and it's available on our website, or we can send it out. It's no problem at all. I will do better at being able to create the attraction by speaking with you. So this will test my theatrics, and I hope you enjoy it. So the of its 90 years servicing Australia, the Royal Flying Doctor Service has now been operating in the Northern Territory for an incredible 85 years. It was on August 1st in 1939 that the original Royal Flying Doctors Alice Springs base officially started its local aeromedical operations. When we first started, we had one plane, one doctor, one ground engineer, and one radio operator. And then a short 2 weeks later, the first radio call was received in our communications room. And shortly later, an aircraft did its first landing right on the doorstep of the base. I'm sharing this information with you about our aeromedical operations because all of that happened right there where our tourist facility is now housed. We transformed the original base. As it grew, it moved to another location in Alice Springs, and we transformed that into a visitor experience and museum. So nestled among the rugged terrain of Australia's Red Centre, we have worked incredibly hard to offer an experience like no other in Alice Springs. Our founder, Reverend John Flynn, was known for being bold, innovative, and uniquely experienced. And offer a uniquely Australian experience. And this is where we hope to bring history to life. So within our tourist facility, we offer a hologram theatre experience. Within that hologram is of our founder, Reverend John Flynn, and he shares his visionary experience from the beginning 90 years ago to the opening of operations in Alice Springs to where we are today. The theatre runs for approximately 17 minutes, and the seating capacity in there is up to 55 people. We offer 4 languages through a translation headpiece, and then we also have an additional 16 languages with a written translation option in there also. Another attraction that we have available, or an experience that we have available, is through virtual reality. So these are virtual reality goggles that people can pop on. And through those lenses, we have 2 stories. One will be the story of a pilot, where you can imagine what it's like flying 35,000 feet above sea level. And the other is an experience with a patient and a nurse that shows some of an example of the life-saving treatment that we provide to our patients up in the air. Next to that, or by in addition to that, we have our Royal Flying Doctor Service Museum. This is an extraordinary time capsule of our history in Central Australia. As visitors look up to the ceiling, out across the walls, they're immersed in the stories of the Royal Flying Doctor Service and how we've worked across the desert terrain of Central Australia, saving the lives of some of our most rural and remote Territorians and visitors of the like. It's here where the visitors can themselves have a turn at inventor Alfred Traeger's famous pedal radio, our first radio translator that we used, where we received our first call. And in there, next to there, you will be looking into the windows of our radio house where that first call was received that I mentioned back in 1939. There are papers on the desk, the radio's there. Everything is just as it was left when we transitioned into our new location. It's a beautiful piece of history. As part of developments with our tourist facility, we've recently introduced and updated some touchscreen technology, and this has replaced our previous mini ghost technology, hologram technology. This touchscreen technology allows our visitors to interact with two of our feature profiles. One is of Alfred Traeger, the inventor of the pedal radio, and the other is Nurse Kathy, who was a nurse in Alice Springs. And you can learn from her around the different logistic considerations, the medical kits that we used at that time, and how it's evolved over time. By extension to our visitor experience and museum, we have the RFDS Base Cafe, which is connected, and it offers our visitors and locals a range of delicious snacks and meals and refreshments. It's housed in what was the original base operations residence. It's a beautiful historic listed building, and the offerings there for your clients, we can do package meal offerings for your clients for their group bookings. And that could be a ploughman's platter, or it could be something to have on site, or it could be something to take on if you're needing to get onto the next attraction. As I mentioned, it's located in the Heritage Precinct. With the exception of the replica aircraft that I had mentioned earlier, the tourist facility and cafe is fully accessible for our visitors with mobility considerations. We recommend our guests allow approximately 1 hour to be able to fully enjoy the offerings of the tourist facility. And of course, invite everybody to stay and enjoy our beautiful cafe courtyard garden there, where we also have some roses that are a nod to Reverend John Flynn in the outback as well. So when your clients visit the tourist facility, they'll not only learn about our incredible history, they'll be able to become part of our future. We boast an extensive range of gifts and souvenirs featuring in our gift store, featuring many classically Australian and also some locally and ethically sourced First Nations art. From these purchases, the contributions go towards the Royal Flying Doctor Service, as well as people being able to take a piece of the Flying Doctor home with them. The way that we run our business has allowed us to be named for our 13th year Australia's most trusted charity. So you can know and trust that by recommending our service to and our visitor experience to your visitors, their contribution, what they take away also gives back in the contribution that they leave. And we're most certainly grateful that through our visitor experience, you and your clients are supporting us to continue delivering the finest care to the furthest corner. If you haven't yet received our rates, I hope that you all should have. If you haven't yet, from Sally from Top End Marketing Co., please contact myself outside of this, or Sally from Temco, and we'll be able to provide them. And I hope that I've been able to deliver some information to you to better understand why we are a must-see attraction in Alice Springs, and really look forward to seeing you and your clients soon.
Great, thank you, Beck. We haven't had any questions come through, but I have to say I've done your virtual reality before, and it's so good. It's so interesting. I love the one about the being in the plane and going out and doing the landing and everything. It's very cool. So it's a great option that keeps very entertaining for everybody. All right, well, thank you for that. What we might do when we email everybody at the end of this, I will include a link to your video that you were going to show so everyone can see for themselves. All right, so next I'm going to hand over to Holly Wyatt from the Alice Springs Desert Park. Holly, if you would like to jump on now.
Hello everybody, I'm Holly, Business Development Coordinator for the Alice Springs Desert Park. Thank you for the opportunity for me to talk and share what we're all about here. I've got a presentation that I'll just share with you, so same thing, we'll just make sure that tech is working the way we hope it to. There will be a little bit of a jump around because we have some very new ads for our new nocturnal product that I'd like to share with you, but it's just sort of hot off the press. They're not even downloadable yet, so we're going to flick across screens, but let's make sure this one is working first. Okay, can everybody see?
We can.
It's beautiful. Okay, so I'm not quite sure now. Obviously, I've lost the to and fro, but maybe Karen, you can update me. I'd love to know, get a bit of a feel for who's booking groups, who's booking FIT, just to get a bit of an understanding. My presentation will cover both, but it's nice to know sort of who I'm speaking to and what proportions they are. And I'll also share all the information and rates through Dropbox with Karen to pass on as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to have, sorry to interrupt, but we'll have a bit of a mix. I think everyone does a bit of both in terms of who they're booking. Beautiful.
All right, well, there's something for everybody here then. So the Desert Park was opened in 1997. So we're coming up to 30 years, and we were modelled off the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum in Arizona as sort of a model for how to capture and share desert life and flora and fauna in a really enticing and engaging way. Just for some reason it's not clicking across. Don't we love it? Let me just, there we go. So you can see a little inner echidna in our wildflowers. So we're in a beautiful part of the seasons now with the amazing wildflowers of Central Australia, as you can see pictured. So the Alice Springs Desert Park is an inspiring portrayal of Australia's desert environment. It's a wonderful place for people to start when they're visiting Central Australia. It gives a real beautiful snapshot and almost living field guide of Central Australia through our flora and fauna, and also the West Aranda culture. So the Alice Springs Desert Park is located on Western Aranda country, and we consult with our traditional owners around communications and all things. And Doris Stewart is the matriarch of that group. We are a botanical garden. There's 2 in Central Australia, so ourselves and Olive Pink Desert Park. We have over 400 plants and 200 animals on park, both on exhibit and also living and enjoying the natural environments, so wild birds coming in and so forth. We're set at the bottom of the West MacDonnell Ranges, which is one of the most beautiful parts of the view of Alice Springs. You can see it from almost every corner, and I'm fortunate enough to see it from my office window. So it's a beautiful place to position yourself and experience Alice Springs. I'll show you a quick video that gives a bit of a snapshot of the experience here at the Desert Park. We are looking to update it, so I hope to send that through to you in the coming weeks via Dropbox, but you can get a bit of an understanding of what we're about. hope that gives you a bit of an understanding of what we're about, but I'll break it down into some key points for you. So the Alice Springs Desert Park is 7 kilometres from Alice Springs. It's accessible by car, coach or bike. So we have a wonderful bike trail that runs from Alice Springs. And obviously you can speak to Patrick from Emu Run about private coach tours or transfers or group transfers. We're open 7 days a week excepting Christmas Day from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And last entry is at 4:30, so we leave a gate open for people to exit after that time. We do recommend 3 hours and definitely capturing the Nature Theatre Bird Show, which you would have seen in the video, which is quite a spectacle and a hot favourite presentation for visitors. The beautiful thing about the Desert Park is the ever-changing environment. So any time of year that you come, you'll get something different. So I guess we have memberships for our local members, allowing them to come all through the year and see those transitions. But no time is a bad time to come to the Desert Park. You really experience sort of the extreme changes of desert environment, but we do recommend in those hotter months to come in the mornings and just be really prepared with water, hats and walking shoes because it can get very hot here in the desert. We pride ourselves on our knowledge, and we have amazing local guides that are all experienced in different facets of the desert park. So we are a botanical garden and we also look at conserving wildlife and local fauna. We are very specifically Central Australian, so you won't see Siberian tigers and lemurs here. You will get Central Australian animals and plants, and we're fiercely protective of those and the knowledge that we can share with you to help our efforts to conserve them. We're mindful that accessibility looks different for everybody, so we do have mobility scooters for those either in wheelchairs or that perhaps find a walk or slightly uneven terrain challenging. So we like to make sure that everything's accessible for as many people as possible. And we have just updated our nocturnal tour Mulga Walk to also have wider paths and smoother paths for wheelchairs. We have audio tours that are accessible through our website, so people can find them through their phone and listen with their own devices. And we have access ramps and wider doors, and also an on-site cafe that has a wide range of dietary options. We do have other things, so certainly if you're concerned about any of your travellers, you can contact me and I can let you know how we can accommodate them best. As we mentioned, the Nature Theatre Bird Show is one of the highlights of the park. So if you're looking at just a day entry pass and your guests are coming just to self-guide, they can obviously walk the park at their leisure and enjoy and be led by nature as to what they might see. But we do offer daily presentations as part of the park visit to sort of enhance that experience, and nature theatre is definitely something to anchor your trip around. So we have in our peak season or our cooler months, we have 2 Nature Theatre bird shows, one at 10:30 a.m. and one at 3 p.m. They run for about 25 minutes, and there is a sort of a bird on hand photo opportunity at the end. So if guests stay around, they can hold an owl or an eagle, depending on what day it is. We do have more birds than we can fit into one show, so every show is a little different, which is really exciting, and I love the opportunity to go in and see who's on. We do have also a resident Willy Wagtail, who's an unofficial member of Nature Theatre, who definitely steals the spotlight and the mealworms. We also have a state-of-the-art nocturnal house. So it's the largest nocturnal house in the Southern Hemisphere, which houses around 30 nocturnal animals. We're so proud of our conservation efforts here that some of the animals that you'll see in the nocturnal house or in our nocturnal tour can't be seen in the wild, like our rufous hair wallaby, which is extinct in the wild. We have a living collection here, and we also contribute to further conservation with Australian Wildlife Conservancy, the Newland National Park, Cleland in South Australia, and numerous other parks where we share knowledge and breeding projects with these places to help some of our more endangered species thrive. You'll also notice, I think in that picture you can see a little bilby in the background. So bilby, echidna, woma snakes, thorny devils, and essentially the nocturnal house recreates the evening during the daytime. So it's a lovely place in the heat of the, in the heat of the desert when you're walking around. It gives you a little respite where you can come into an air-conditioned space and break up that trip as well. It's one of my favourite places to be, just to see those curious critters active during the day. We're also very passionate about sharing West Arundel culture and knowledge through our Survival in the Desert talks and our Plant Medicine and Bush Food talks, which are daily presentations. It's a great opportunity to understand better how the West Arundel people survived in these harsh desert conditions for millennia, and it's quite impressive. I just am mesmerised when I go to these tours and just learn how people have adapted in this environment for so long, because I know I very much rely on my air conditioning at times. So, but it is a really special opportunity for people visiting Central Australia to understand the culture and heritage here. So the Survival in the Desert talk and the Bush Foods talk are part of our daily presentations, but as we go through the presentation, I'll let you know about our group bookable tours, which go into more depth. As mentioned, we are a botanical garden, and right now the gardens are spectacular. They're full of wildflowers all throughout with that beautiful red earth, as you can see in the picture. We're working on some wildflower custodian group tours with schools, so watch this space for those. But it's just a beautiful space to experience and walk through. I think when I reflect, my favourite memories are always scaffolded by nature as a child and an adult, and it's just such a wonderful place to explore and connect with nature. We also have a big screen movie, which is a 20-minute film around the evolution of the Australian desert. Again, it provides wonderful context and background to what you'll be experiencing on park. It's another way to just stop and cool down and catch your breath in between the walk if you're spending longer than 3 hours. So that gives you a bit of a snapshot of your experience on park, either as a self-guided traveller or as a group. You'll get to see most of those things. We have some amazing animals that I haven't yet featured, so it's worth coming and seeing those. But one of our favourite experiences is our nocturnal tour. So this is something that's bookable for you, for your guests. It's a 1-hour tour, and the walk goes through our Mulga Walk, which is a purpose-built predator-proof walk where we have I think it's 8 different species living in harmony in this space where you can see them active at night. So the nocturnal tour runs Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, but we have just developed a new group offering with our nocturnal tour, which is our Nocturnal Outback Barbecue Tour. This is a 2.5-hour product where your guests can either come from their afternoon visit to the park straight into a nocturnal tour, or just join on to this tour where they'll be greeted by a guide. They'll then sit down for a wonderful Australian infused Outback gourmet barbecue and then be taking on their nocturnal walk. So it's a beautiful experience. I'm just going to jump quickly to show you that video. So excuse me while I jump around for one moment. I had prepared how I was going to do this, but we might just have to. So as mentioned, we're still in the last stages of refining this, but you can get a first sneak peek.
As the sun falls below the ranges, join us for an intimate journey through Alice Springs Desert Park, where the desert comes alive after dark. Start your night with a gourmet barbecue dinner infused with flavours of the desert, while watching the sunset over the McDonnell Ranges. As night falls, stroll through our Mulga Walk.
I would have mentioned to you earlier that questions that pop up.
And immerse yourself in the curious activities of nocturnal wildlife. Discover some of the world's most unique and rare animals. Join us for an unforgettable evening under the stars of Central Australia with our Nocturnal Outback Barbecue Tour at Alice Springs Desert Park.
So
hope that gives you a bit of a sense of what that experience will be. Obviously, always speak to Patrick about transfer options for this. My screen's not letting me get my. Just give me one moment. I've got 3 screens and my cursor won't go across. But I can. Karen, what can you see at the moment?
Just a picture with someone and a large bird.
Okay, perfect. We may just have to, I'll just escape out of that and just speak to you from here on. Let me just come back to you. It was always going to happen, wasn't it, when I was switching screens? So that gives you a sense of one of our beautiful products that it definitely is a memorable experience, and something that even if you're travelling or camping in Central Australia, you may never get the opportunity to see some of those animals. So it's really special, and it allows the keepers to share some of their conservation efforts that they've been working towards and on for many years to help develop that space. One of the other tours, as mentioned, is our cultural tour. So this is a 2.5-hour tour where guests come and see the highlights of the park with a local guide who can walk and talk through some of the cultural elements of the land. This will include bush food and plant medicine talks, survival in the desert talks, and share some of the stories and dreaming of the land that's been approved by traditional owners. This is a wonderful way to understand, I guess, the Aranda culture, West Aranda culture better through that experience. We also have an on-site cafe, which came to the park just over a year ago. And they are also on-site caterers. They also run the cafe that's at Royal Flying Doctors. So the food is amazing. The coffee is sensational, and it's actually not the coffee that was pictured in the video. So if you saw that and thought there was too much froth for those coffee fiends, it's a really spectacular coffee. So we can organise group catering as required or as part of groups. So the GAN is one example. They come, they do their tour with us, and then they all meet. Some of the off-train experiences all come and meet for lunch here, and then go off and do their other experiences. And it's just a wonderful way to gather the groups together and share food, looking over the West Macdonnell Ranges as pictured behind me. So you are welcome to contact me. I'll put all my email addresses and everything in the group shortly. We also have venue hire options. So one thing that's really exceptional about Central Australia or the Territory is that we're distinctly different. You know, the experience is like none other. And the Desert Park has some purpose-built venues, which are fantastic for special events, for groups, conferences, and we love to tailor something really special and memorable for those groups. So again, in that package that we send with Karen, I'll put some venue hire and venue options in there, so you can have a look at what we can offer. And yeah, I'm sorry I'm not prompted by my spiel anymore, but I think that's pretty much covered it. I think one thing about Central Australia, we moved from South Australia, from the Fleurieu Peninsula 2 years ago, sorry, and we planned to just stay for 2 years. And it came up to 2 years this year, and we just couldn't leave. There's a magnetism to the place here that is unmatched, even coastlines, which I'm a beach girl, and it's just a really special environment to be in, and you really have to see it to feel it. You know, whether it's wildflowers in our winter months, or just that red earth and sand paired with that clear blue sky, the animals, the flora, the people. It's just a wonderful place to visit, and I feel like the Alice Springs Desert Park can really tie that together for your visitors, give them a real snapshot before going out, and they'll understand then as they go out into other environments how special their sightings are, and you know, they can find their own bush food, or you know, see animals that they perhaps don't realise how special it is to see them. And so yeah, it is a really lovely way to frame up Central Australia. But I want to just say thank you so much for your time. Sorry for the little bit of tech clunky with all Karen's efforts to keep me on track. I think I'm Sometimes born in the wrong year for teams. But no, really appreciate your time and look forward to any questions that you may have.
Thanks, Holly. That was fantastic. We have had one question. It's the maximum capacity for the nocturnal tour. What is that?
Yeah, so minimum is 15. We aim for 30 for the optimal experience. We have done groups up to 100. We're just mindful that we need a lot of time to prepare because we are working with nature, and feeding does bring the boys to the bar kind of thing. So you just want to make sure that, you know, we have the time to prepare their feeding schedule so that the last group going through, if we're staggering it, still gets that wonderful experience. So we sort of aim to 30 to 45, no more, but we can cater for more with enough notice. We are developing a weekend product pricing structure, so just bear with us while we do that. I guess we've had, we usually work midweek, but we've had a strong demand for weekends, so that just changes our structure of pricing slightly. So I'll hopefully get that through to you soon. And one other thing I didn't put in the presentation, but it's worth noting for your visitors that the Parchment Festival of Light is on in April. It's during school holidays, generally the April school holidays. I think it will fall within NT school holidays next year. So without saying too much, round early mid-April. So that's held at the Alice Springs Desert Park in the Greater Site, and it's an absolutely spectacular presentation that runs for a week, a night light show and market in Alice Springs. So it's a wonderful time to visit. The weather's gorgeous, still chilly nights, warm days, but it's just such a special way to experience Alice Springs is through the Parchment Festival of Light. So I'll write that note in my post in a moment.
Right, thank you. And I will share everybody's details so they can contact you directly when I send out the links after the webinar. So thank you so much, Holly. That was really good. I think the videos are really great to show everybody what to expect. And if anyone's ever been out to the Desert Park and they've done the bird show, they will see how fun it really is. It's a real highlight. So thank you for that. I'm just going to share my screen now and just wrap up with a few other details we have about the region. So just in terms of Alice Springs, so obviously getting around, Patrick's already mentioned a little bit about this already, but we have the Red Centre Way. It's a really good self-drive route that we highly recommend people can go out from Alice Springs out to Kings Canyon and Uluru. It's a really natural sort of drive. It's really lovely. In terms of flights into Alice Springs, so there are some really good connections into Alice Springs from Sydney and Adelaide, as well as Melbourne, and obviously there's the flights from Darwin, Brisbane, and Perth as well. Patrick's mentioned the coach transfers. AAT Kings also run coach transfers, and there's rental car options in those areas. Parks passes are needed heading out into the Wairaka and the Uluru Katajuta National Parks as well. Just in terms of our West MacDonnell ranges, so just in terms of our touring options out there, so Patrick's already mentioned their tour out there, which is the full day tour. Autopia Tours have a full day tour out there as well. And AAT Kings have a half day tour. So I just want to show you some photos of this because it really is very beautiful. If you haven't been to the West Macs before, I would highly recommend heading out there. It's really such a beautiful landscape out there. We have our historical tours. Obviously, Alice Springs has got a really rich historical, colonial and Aboriginal history. So Patrick's mentioned the tour that they do. AAT Kings also have an afternoon tour that they run out there as well. This is the School of Air. If anyone's heard of it, it's actually really interesting to head out to the School of Air. It's part of both of those historical tours. We have the Palm Valley, kind of referred to as Australia's Grand Canyon. Emu Run have got a tour running out there, as do AAT Kings. And here's a photo, which is really beautiful. Some stunning landscapes. In terms of the day touring, so AAT Kings do a combination of their West Mac and their historical A Town Like Alice tour to make it into a full day tour. Patrick's talked about his day tour out to Uluru, and then we have 100% Fink River Cultural and Adventure. They do a tour out to Hermannsburg, and Hermannsburg is this really beautiful small community, about half an hour, I think, out of Alice Springs, and it has this beautiful architecture. So they head out there as well. You do visit Hermannsburg on the Palm Valley tours too. In terms of our multi-day tour options, so, you know, in nearly every tour company that runs in the Northern Territory who's doing a day tour does some kind of multi-day tour as well. So these normally always from Alice Springs will include Uluru, and most include Kings Canyon as well. So it's a really nice way to sort of visit that whole region. It's so pretty out there. They will do camping. Most of them will do a camping and like a cabin or a hotel accommodation as well. We've got the beautiful Larapinta Trail which is out in the West McDonnell Ranges as well. So World Expeditions, 100% Think, and Intrepid and Autopia do guided tours out along the Larapinta Trail. Just in terms of some other product we have on offer, we have Earth Sanctuary. They are a astrology company, I guess. They do an astro tour, which is just a short 1.5 hours where everyone will get to learn about the night sky. If you've ever been into the Red Centre, you'll remember the amazing skies we have out there. It's so clear. There's no light pollution from cities or anything like that. So this is such a beautiful place to visit. They also do a dinner as well. They do a combo of the dinner and the tour, and then they do an overnight option as well. It's such a beautiful location at Earth Sanctuary. Definitely something to add to an itinerary. We have Outback Ballooning. So you probably all would know Andrea. She's been around for a long time, and you know she's really well known. This is such a beautiful product. I love doing Outback Ballooning. I've got a really short video I'm going to show you here. Just realized I didn't share my sound, so you won't hear that, but you'll be able to see. In terms of transportation around Alice Springs, so Alice Silver Passenger Service do the transfers from the airport. They do the airport shuttle. They've also got some of their own touring on offer. They head out to the East McDonnell Ranges, which is an area that I don't think anyone else does tours out into that location. They've also do charters. They've got those larger vehicles too. Adventure Rentals, they're based in Darwin, but they've got service facilities around the NT. So the Alice Springs is one of them. They do have these Toyota Prados, I think, or they've got the Hiluxes, and they have got the camping on the top. So a really cool option for people that sort of want to get out and get onto those 4-wheel drive tracks and are a little bit more intrepid. And in terms of our accommodation, so the main accommodation we have in Alice Springs is the Crown Plaza. You see here the rooms are really beautiful earthy tones. And they've got a restaurant there as well. And we've got the Doubletree, and they also have the beautiful Hanneman restaurant, which is part of our prize package, which I'm going to tell you about in a sec. And then, of course, we've got the GAN, which is, you know, this beautiful experience, really important part of the Alice Springs history, which travels up to and from Darwin. And here's some of their offerings. This is their new Gold Premium cabins. You're probably very familiar with them. We have got a brand new trade website. It is literally just launched this morning. So I'm going to send you all out the link to it. You can have a look at what we have on there. It's really just going to be a place for everyone to go to if you have any questions about the region, if you want to learn more about our export ready products, which is our internationally export ready products. We've got itineraries, we've got all of our webinars, everything is saved there. We've also got information about any of the operators that are doing language tours, which is a very common question for us. We have our trade deals. So what we want is to bring all of you guys into the Northern Territory so you can explore for yourselves. So we do work really closely with our operators to get deals up there to make it a little bit more affordable. We also do contribute a $500 voucher for people that are wanting to come and do their own self-guided FMIL when they come to the NT. So all the information about that is on our website. NT Muster, which is our domestic roadshow, it's taking place next week. If you are in Melbourne, Brisbane or Sydney and you want to come along to that, you need to go onto our trade.northernterritory.com/events website to register. It's free to come. We've got 30 operators attending that. We've got great prizes on offer, and there's drinks and NT inspired canapes that runs from 6 to about 9 o'clock on each of those nights. It's a really fun night out. Now, in terms of our prize draw, so everyone that's attended today goes into the draw to win our package, which takes people out to Alice Springs. It's for 2, so it's going to get drawn on Friday. We have got a $500 webjet voucher. We've got 2 nights accommodation, the day tour into the Westmead Ranges with Emu Run, a hot air balloon flight for 2, entry into the Flying Doctor tourist facility, entry to the Alice Springs Desert Park, including the nocturnal tour, a $100 voucher for the Hahnemann restaurant, which is fantastic. If you haven't heard of it, it is so good. And then the Astro Tour at Earth Sanctuary for 2 people as well. So that is it from me. There are my details. Sorry this has run over a little bit, but we will put this on our website and I'll be in touch with all of that information that I mentioned along the way. So thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time.